what the hell's going on, but apparently we can't just have our own thing anymore there, Scotty. It would be cool if we had a cool little open like that. Anyway, it's Hot Mike. We're back. Couple-week layoff for health and other reasons, but we're back. We're better than ever. Scott Hastings, how are you tonight?
And we're getting back at it. And now, I was telling DMAC this today. We got like 7 months of busy.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got the Avs have already started. This thing's getting going, and they're playing well. We could talk about the job, the little job that they got jobbed in against Utah. Nuggets get started tomorrow. Their home opener is Saturday, and it's between the Nuggets and Avs. In fact, tomorrow don't we have a duel tomorrow with the Avs and the Nuggets?
Yes, we do, because the Nuggets are wearing the Avs are wearing their throwback jerseys, if you remember.
Yeah.
And yeah,
they'll be
the
on
Nuggets play at 8.
And the Nuggets play on ESPN, I think.
Nuggets are on ESPN because I heard them promote it. Dude, I got to tell you, because I want to start with the Nuggets. I'm watching this Spurs Mavericks game. I can't, like, Wemby, it's so weird, dude. Like, my head can't process a dude that tall that does what he does, and he's making Lively look small. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and his legs look ridiculous. It just looks all fake.
He makes a 7-footer look little.
Yeah. That Lively dude's bigger than every guard out there. Like, when Lively went to go out to cover a guard on the corner 3, I'm like, that dude's massive, but next to Wemby, he not so much.
Yeah, Lively's 6'11", I think, 7 foot almost. It's funny, when I played with against Manute Bol. And it's and they said Wemby actually grew at least an inch. He was like 7'3", and he came in. Now he's a little over 7'4", almost, right? But Manute Bol, I think, was 7'4", 7'5", something like that. And you don't ever think about it. You realize how big he is and long arms like Wemby does. But we were watching the game film. He was playing with Washington. We were watching the game film from the game before. It's like the next day. We're somewhere on the road. And I'm looking at it, and I'm standing at the free throw line. Now, to you, I'm a pretty big guy. My head came to Manute Bol's shoulder. So just think about that. And all the times you and I hang around and see each other, whatever. I was at this guy's show. That's Wemby.
Yeah.
Watch when San Antonio comes in and plays Denver. Listen, Joker's a big man. I mean, he's legit 7 foot, if not close to 7'1". And he looks like he's tiny compared to Wembanyama.
Dude, it's crazy because they're showing highlights right now. To see, just to try to process the length of his knee to his ankle, his calf it looks like a glitch in the system, man. He's towering over Anthony Davis. By the way, a funny Manute Bol story. I ran into Manute Bol at a mall in Amarillo, Texas one time. I don't know why he was there, but he's just walking through. And I mean, it's Manute Bol, right? There ain't nobody looking like Manute Bol in the world. I don't know why he was there. I wish they could have asked him, but yeah, we just said hello to him and went about our way.
Wemby, remember those the pantyhose women used to wear, the knee-high pantyhose, right? They could wear pants but look like they had pantyhose on. They would be like ankle socks to Wemby.
I know, dude. Yeah,
and I haven't heard anybody talk about what size shoe he wears. It's got to be in the 20s, doesn't it?
Yeah, you would think. I mean, that's what I kept thinking about watching this guy so big. I'm just like, bro, that guy can't even just buy clothes. Everything's got to be custom made for that cat.
Dikembe Mutombo, I got to play with Dikembe, the late great, and Manute Bol, the late great, right? But Dikembe came in out of Georgetown, and I remember, and the trainer at the time, Jim Gillen, was a good buddy. He came in, and they had him coming out of Georgetown in size 16s.
Oof.
And they looked at his feet, and it was all, they measured his foot, and they had to order 21s.
Yeah.
But he had been playing his couple of years at Georgetown in college in size 16s, and he was a 21. Think about that.
Yeah, how'd that not screw his feet up?
Oh, his feet were, hey, Feet look like claws, like from a Halloween movie, right? Look like he's a gargoyle. He had gargoyle feet, to be honest with you. He had gargoyle feet.
Dikembe. Um, well, all right, let's get right into it. Are we about to witness? Look, Scotty, I only said it half facetiously to Nate today because, Nate's got to go do some Mountain West Media Day stuff for basketball tomorrow, so he won't be on, but then he'll be back Friday for those wondering. But I was kind of bummed because obviously the Nuggets his thing. But he asked me before we got off the show, he goes, how many games do you think the Nuggets could win? And I was like, 65. And he laughed. And I go, look, man, I guess I'm half playing, but I'm not. Now, do I know that they're going to want to go for that many wins? I don't know. You got to manage some fellas, I guess. But Scotty, is this not on paper? Is this not maybe the best Nuggets team we've ever seen in history? They look deep. They seem to have a bench. Am I overplaying the offseason? I'm so excited to watch this team play because it's going to be more than 5 or 6 dudes.
You always got to put the championship team in there at one, right? Because you want a championship. But then this team, not even close leading up to 23 or since 23 for sure. But here's the interesting. Here's what I've garnered watching, Oklahoma City and Houston last night. I watched just a little bit, not much of Golden State, but they're going to be better. Watched a lot of this Dallas San Antonio game. I've now flipped it over to Hallmark Channel, though, by the way.
Yeah, you showed me.
But I flipped over and watched them in San Antonio. I don't think anybody in the Western Conference is going to win 65 games.
You're probably right.
Because, listen, Dallas and San Antonio didn't make the playoffs last year. They're both going to be better. Remember, Wemby missed 36, 38 games with the blood clot thing, and that changed exactly who they are. So they're going to be in playoff contention. I think Dallas is going to be a lot better than you think, and they're going to get Kyrie back probably around the All-Star break or soon after. And Davis, I don't know if you saw him early. I haven't seen him since, but he ended up got a rebound and put back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe Anthony Davis wants to play this year. Which, watch out. I think Cooper Flag's the real deal. And San Antonio's deep. They've had 2 years in a row the Rookie of the Year, so they're good. Clippers are going to be better. Portland's not going to be an easy out, but I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to take that kind of step. Houston was second in the league in the Western Conference last year. Utah, Phoenix, Sacramento, Portland are the big question marks. Everybody else, I think, has legitimate, take. I mean, say Denver wins 65. How many does Oklahoma City win? You ain't having two teams. Houston last year won 60, right? Or 58? How many they win?
Yeah, they were good. They were good. And look, Houston looked good with Durant. And now again, caveat, folks, this is all dependent on health. Health can wreck everything, but we're talking about healthy teams as we see it are healthy enough. Look, at the end of the day, I don't care how many they win the regular season as long as you go win in the postseason, frankly. But I'm so excited to watch this Denver team because I just think I don't know that I can remember a time they seem to have so many dudes that they could actually use. And I'm excited to see what David Adelman does with them. So,
well, they had I watched that the first half of the preseason game, and then a little bit of the fourth quarter. But the last preseason game, you didn't play Joker, you didn't play Jamal, you didn't play Gordon, so you basically played Christian Brown and the new guys. Your bench, really, Christian Brown and the bench, and they're up 12 at halftime against Oklahoma City, who's played everybody. And right. I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, here we go. Although Houston did a good job waking Shea Gilgeous up in the fourth quarter and overtime last game, but I think it's going to be tough to win games.
Okay, how many do you think they can win then, realistically?
How many realists? I think oh man, I think there's going to be about 5 teams between 52 and 58. Minnesota. I didn't even count Minnesota. Minnesota's still good. But I think there's going to be. I don't think Oklahoma City's going to run away with it like they did a little bit last year. And I know, they got the same guys. I got you. I got you. And maybe that helps them stay hungry. But it's tough to repeat because what you find out once you win a championship, the Avs found this out after the 22 season. Nuggets found it out after the 23 season. You're everybody's homecoming. You're everybody's red letter big game. Everybody wants a piece of you. So Oklahoma City's going to get that. Not that they slipped up on anybody last year, but listen, they're going to get everybody's good game. They're not going to have any time off. So I think there's going to be. I bet you in the Western Conference there's 6 or 7 teams over 50 wins, and 50 wins a high water mark. That's usually a sign of a good team. You win 50 games.
So are we still doing top 3 seed that you need? See, for a while there, I thought the Nuggets don't really need home court advantage because sometimes I don't know if it matters. I feel like this Western Conference this year, because again, I'll give you this, man. Watching that, like it just feels like every team is so literally big, tall. You know what I mean? Houston's a tall team. Oklahoma City's a tall team. The Nuggets have added some size despite trading away Michael Porter Jr. I think some physical size that'll help them as well. But you just got so many Minnesota's still a big team. It just feels like like I asked Nate, I go, why won't some of these cats go to the Eastern Conference, man? Why are they all still here? My gosh. But you probably you want to have as many home court. You want game 7 on your home court as often as you can still, right?
Well, let me ask this. And I think the Avs and the Nuggets, when they won their championships, had identical records, right? I think they were.
In the playoffs anyway, yes.
In the playoffs.
They both went 16-4.
16-4. The Avalanche had a better record on the road than they did at home.
Yeah, you're right.
Remember? I think they lost. Didn't they lose 3 games at home during those playoffs?
Yeah, I think so.
Or something like that.
They lost. Well, they lost 2 to St. Louis and 2 to Tampa because they swept the Oilers and they swept the Predators.
Yeah, so all 4 of your but at least 2 of those losses were home games.
You're right. They lost 1 at home to St. Louis, and then they lost 1 at home to Tampa.
So you lose as many games at home as you did on the road. Point being, the only thing I'm trying to say on this is championship teams win on the road.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I know, but I also feel like, Scotty, if it's, well, look, I hate to disagree with you. You lived it, I haven't, but I just go back to that Oklahoma City. I also feel like, and again, this is a lesson I got from you. Sometimes refs ride the emotion of an arena. Let's act like they don't. We can get back into that about the Avs last night, and I'd rather you be riding my home team's emotion in their arena than what we saw last year where you decided to start giving Oklahoma all the foul calls again.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
All you got to do is look at Nuggets game 6 and game 7, right? I mean, game 6, the momentum, and then Strawther starts hitting shots. Place is going absolutely nuts. In Oklahoma City, by the end of the game, didn't want anything to do with Denver.
Right.
And then entirely different vibe. Now, Denver wasn't very healthy for a game 7, but yeah, you'd rather play. Andy, you're right. I mean, you would rather always play home games. That being said, great teams know how to win on the road. And I just think in the Western Conference, whoever wins the championship this year, I think Cleveland and New York are going to be watch outs. I think those are the 2 teams. You don't know what Embiid's status is with Philly. He'll make him a lot better if he plays. But I think New York and Cleveland are the 2 teams to watch for. New York are in the Eastern Conference. But I think the champion comes out of the West again. And I think there's going to be a whole bunch of game 7s in the postseason in the Western Conference this year. So you might be right. Let's have game 7 in Denver.
Well, I think it's going to be really fun. Do you like the numbers for Christian Brown? Are you okay with that extension? I mean, I'm glad they kept him, but
they don't kick in until another year, and the salary cap is going to keep going up. You see all the different freaking TV people that have bought into the NBA. I mean, the cap's going to go up and up and up. So I think that's just a good. You know what? It's weird. Dominique Wilkins, who's a Hall of Famer, and I know the money was a lot different now. When I got in the league, they were talking about cutting from 23 teams, maybe losing 2 or 3 teams because the finances were so bad. Dominique Wilkins was like our leading scorer and our leading money guy. He was making $400,000 a year, right? And that was a lot. And it's still a lot. I like to make $400,000 now, but $25 million is almost like that middle.
I know.
You're a nice player money.
Well, it's like, yeah. Listen, it's like it's like you said, it's all relative. Joker's what, going to be an $80 million player, $60 million player a year, $70 million player a year. Christian Brown's a third of that, which is probably what he should be, right?
Yeah.
So, as far as structure on your payroll.
Well, listen, and we haven't talked about much also, but after COVID, the NHL held all the salaries down. They wanted to recoup money for a couple of years, so salaries stayed flat. Hey, they ain't flat no more, are they? And that salary cap's going up and up and up. I heard somebody mention today, or an article I read today, that if the NHL expands, they're estimating the Knicks franchise to buy an NHL franchise will be $2 billion.
Yeah, how about that? The league that has to have the hardest cap and control its cost the most is going to have a $2 billion franchise. That's crazy.
Buy a new franchise.
A new one. Yeah. I know. All right. Let's get a little Bronco talk in here. I put it in the headline. I'm going to keep the question simple. Is the problem Bo or is the problem the play calling?
I heard, and I think it was on your show when Cosmiter was on, and it made sense. And I think you even said this too before Nick said his statement, but you said, even Sean Payton started his presser after the game. We're not going to be talking about tempo. We don't want to talk about tempo. And I thought Cosmiter made a great point. It's not about hurry up, get to the offense, snap the ball, and go. But his guess was, I think when they do that, though, the plays are shorter. They're not red right, big red zipper slash, go left, blah, 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 blah. Name your 20-word play.
It's a 1 sentence, not a 3 sentence.
Yeah. And I thought when Nick said that, I went, oh, so now you get up there. Now the coaches are having to be more concise. Well, I think Bo Nix is a limited quarterback, but I don't think this has all been on his issue. And I think, listen, I always feel like I'm picking on Sean Payton, and we're probably lucky to have him, but it just feels at time he wants to show everybody all the toys he's got.
No, I agree with you.
And remember the old kiss. The old kiss. You need a little kiss system. Keep it simple, stupid.
Here's my thing, man. Because I pointed this example out and it was on, I want to say it was on the drive. It wasn't the field goal drive. It was the touchdown drive before that, okay? But Bo got out there, and I noticed there was 18 seconds on the play clock. Got the play call, got to the line. Granted, they were in the 2-minute hustle drill or whatever, but he gets to the line, and you could see him take a breath, right? Could physically see him take a breath. Look here, look there. Receiver started running. He goes, no. You may remember. No. Go back there. Calls out his protection over here. Boom, snap. Well, but now Bo's in control. Now Bo's comfortable. Now Bo's not coming to the line, because I'm telling you, you can read it in his body language if you pay attention close enough. Let's go back to the Indy game, the Charger game, where they had some of these blown calls like you're talking about here, Scotty. He gets to the line. There's 8 seconds. Now he's frantically. He's trying to remember the call. He's looking at the defense. He's trying to remember my check, this, that, and play clock's going down, and it's all just getting screwed up, man. Don't do that to the kid.
Play
Just
clock
don't do
at
it to the
4,
guy.
3, 2. No, I don't disagree with that. Listen, and that started for me part of the things I wanted, and I started this in preseason of Sean Payton to give up the play calling. Because I think when you're on the sideline, A, you don't get to see things like you do from the booth. And B, I think he's on that thing, so he's going to read, okay, well, I got this. Okay, let's go BR549 slash rubber ducky breaker. And well, I just flashed back to the 70s right
I was
there.
about to say, what are we doing? Is that Smokey and the Bandit call?
I was thinking the trucker. What was that one trucker man? 10-4, big buddy.
Yeah.
Down the highway.
Any which way but loose. Wasn't that a Clint Eastwood one with the orangutan?
Well, that was that era, but it was somebody up there Texas in CJ something, McCabe, something like that. Anyway, but he takes too long to get it in, and then the play's too long, and now you come out of the huddle and you break the huddle, and there's 8 seconds. And you're like, that they ain't enough time. I like getting up there. Peyton Manning did it. It wasn't that Peyton Manning snapped the ball with 13 seconds on the play clock. He was snapping the ball still with 2 or 3 seconds, but he was up there at the line of scrimmage the last 15 seconds messing around with the defense, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, not only that, and look, Jeff's talked to me about it. The other nice thing about it is keep a set of defensive personnel on the field. Don't switch your guys out. Keep those guys in. Get a feel for what they do. Attack their weak spots. Get a look at them for a couple plays. Because the minute you sub your 9 guys, they're going to sub their guys. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, again, I'm with you. Sean Payton has had his day, okay? And I still believe I give Sean a lot of credit, man. Sean's coached him. He's made football fun in this town again. There's a passion. My son's watching the game, running around, yelling, enjoying it like his first true, since the Peyton Manning era anyway, Bronco, injected in your vein kind of blood or, moment the other day with that comeback. But so Sean's done a lot of good things, but dude, you're just so damn stubborn sometimes, man. You're just so damn stubborn. You gotta evolve a bit, just a bit, and again, quit telling everybody he's Drew Brees. Quit. Bo wants to be Bo. Bo's not out there trying to tell anybody he's Drew Brees, right? He's not trying to tell anybody that. He's just trying to be Bo. Let him be Bo. I don't want to hear Tony Romo tell me in the next damn game that he calls, well, Sean was telling us that he's just like Drew Brees. Stop saying that shit, man. You're making his life harder than you need to. That's what drives me nuts.
What's our guys? Jake Plummer and Nate Jackson.
Nate Jackson.
And it was just a small bit of Jake breaking down one of the touchdown runs, or maybe both the touchdown runs of Bo Nix. And I love the stuff he was saying about the kid. He said it's the first time he looks comfortable. He's not doing these naked rollouts where all of a sudden like this. He described it better. And I don't want to blow somebody else's podcast up or anything, but here's a quarterback that could use his legs a little bit and kept plays alive with his legs, and he could run if he need to, but he wasn't afraid to make some throws here and there. And he was loved the way they designed those runs late instead of just that naked boot and hope somebody's open, of getting him out. And especially the one 19-yard run, that was a designed run all the way. And that was, got 2 or 3 great blocks, made one guy miss, and then 2 great blocks. Both your tackles got in on some great blocks. Boom, 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 big touchdown.
Well, dude, they were all having fun too.
Nix. Would you not say that's Bo Nix?
Yeah, it's Bo, because again, and I love the fact that you told me it's Jake Plummer breaking it down. I think I've used Greasy in the past, but I've also lately seen the little Jake Plummer in there. That's what Bo is. And both guys that we just mentioned, all 3 dudes were limited as far as what they could be ultimately as quarterbacks or having the best arms in the league or whatever. But you know what? You won plenty of games with both of them. And Jake Plummer was beloved by his teammates. He competed hard for his guys. I know for a fact from the stories I've been told, he wasn't afraid to take on a few coaches for the sake of his guys. Does that not sound a little like Bo Nix? Yep. His teammates do like Bo Nix. I don't see anybody that doesn't seem to like Bo Nix. They like the guy. I think they know what he's dealing with this coach. Now, listen, Sean and Sean Payton and Mike Shanahan, different types of intensity, but both very intense. And I don't think easy guys to be the quarterback for, right? Bo's dealing with a little of that. And that's where Davis Webb is so important. But just let him, like, again, Sean, you've got to find, in 2015, Peyton Manning and Gary Kubiak came to an agreement, came to a compromise. That's when we went to they got to find something here. We're about that time. You got to find something, because I get it. You know, we have Chad Brown on Tuesdays, and I keep asking. I asked Chad Brown, I said, you got to explain it to me. Why can't you do something similar to this sooner? And Chad said, you can't have the 30-second. He goes, if you give me a 30-second 3 and out, a 45-second 3 and out, we haven't even installed our adjustments for the next drive. We barely got off the iPad. You got to kill a little time, and I get it. I get that. But there's got to be some middle ground here. Scotty, done there?
And guess what? And that's without a hurry-up offense. That wasn't no hurry-up offense. That was 43-second.
You're right.
3-play drives, and that wasn't that was getting the huddle, get out drives.
Yeah.
43 seconds off the clock.
Well, I hope they get there. I hope they're not afraid to run against Dallas now, Scotty. Dallas doesn't have a great run defense. You better get ready to get a full old, because, again, what else got you going? Another thing, the Strnad play got you going. Good job by him. A guy that I, frankly, kind of written off. He's having a little bit of a rebirth year, so good job by him. And remember, J.K. Dobbins gave you a few good runs and got you going, too. Bo Nix did his thing, and you and I talked about it, man. I give Bo Nix all the credit in the world for this. I said it on the Altitude postgame show. His guys believe he'll get it done. And that's nothing. That's not anything to overlook. He's got the confidence of his teammates when he's got his little swag going out there, like you were talking about, that they'll get it done. And that's good.
I remember what Jake said on those radios. These are real play action plays, and they're not the fake, big loop around, fake sweep here, bootleg. He said these are real play action plays he was showing, and a couple on a couple nice throws too. So, listen, I don't know. I'm going to answer your question you asked very first. I think it's play calling more than, and I've been as critical on Bo Nix, you and I both, really, as anybody else in the market. I don't think this is on Bo. I really don't. I think this is pure and simple, the play calling and what's going on and how they're devising. Listen, you and I grew up with the Broncos as far as broadcasters on Mike Shanahan. And you'll remember this. And it was, I don't know if it was the second Super Bowl year or not. They scored a touchdown on like the first 11 first drives of the season. Right? I mean,
yeah.
They had a record going for keeping, and it was an unbelievable streak. And the one game they got stopped on the first drive, they scored on their second. Denver is, I'm gonna see if I'm gonna do this off memory. And listen, it ain't just the first quarter. And here's what shocked me. Denver is 18th in points scored offensively in the first quarter. They're 20th in the second quarter, points scored. Third quarter, 28th in
Doesn't
scoring
shock me.
in the NFL. Guess what they are in the fourth quarter? Third.
Third?
Right now.
See, your third quarter stat doesn't shock me, Scotty, because if you go back and really think about it, third quarter is where things got away from him in both Indy and the Charger game.
Exactly. And they're scoring on the season average now. 33 points skews a big time in just 7 games. But they're averaging as many points in the fourth quarter as they're averaging in the first 3. Keep that in mind.
Well, you're going to have to score some points against Dallas. I thought you guys had a good question going that DMAC asked. I asked Nate the same. How many points? How many points do you need? How many points are going to have to score? I think 27 is the minimum, because I think the Broncos defense is as good as it is, and I hope people are ready to show up. Show up, be loud, keep the tickets. If you and I were back at KOA, we'd be telling people don't sell your tickets to Cowboy fans, blah, 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 because we know they travel well, and we know there's plenty of them here already, but you need to show up as a crowd. See, this is where back in the day, before I got in the media, I used to love being able to go to a game at Mile High and be like, you know what? We're going to get loud. We're going to affect these guys today. You know, I still remember you called the game. Remember when the Broncos came from behind against KC in 98? Shannon had a couple of touchdowns and TD got a run. And it looked like for half the game or 3/4 of the game, KC was going to snap their win streak to start the season. It ultimately got snapped by the Giants next week in New York. But the Broncos came back and won. I just remember being so loud. I had a headache. It felt like for a day and a half after that game. I remember people banging on the loud, banging their feet on the metal and just making it impossible for the KC offense to function. That's what you need this weekend if you're a Bronco fan, and not let Dallas do any of these checks at the line. Don't let Dallas, I hope it gets back to some of that old school, so we'll see. Let's get to the Avs, dude.
Hey, let me ask you one quick question, Broncos, real fast, though. We asked this question Monday, I think, Monday or Tuesday. This is going to go down as one of the iconic, especially fourth quarters ever. This will be a game that a lot of people talk about forever. And, in 10 years, no one left the stadium as opposed to 10,000 of y'all left the stadium, right? What are 2 or 3 games, not counting playoff games, we won't count the Super Bowls or all that stuff, but or the AFC Championship games, there's a whole bunch of good ones of those too. But what regular season games kind of stand out for you?
Regular season?
Yeah, because and again, the 98 yard drive was a postseason game, right? That was against Cleveland, the postseason. The big fumble game when Biner's going in to score, postseason game. Obviously all the Super Bowls. The hey Shannon, run down 7 yards and get open, Pittsburgh playoff, right?
Yeah.
Which is iconic.
There was a second drive, too, that Elway pulled off against Houston. People seem to forget because they went on to Buffalo and lost. That's when Treadwell had a bad day kicking field goals and Elway got hurt, which is fine because they got whooped by Mark Schler's first Super Bowl team, the original, that Redskin team that had Rip in his quarterback. I'll give you one. There's 2 that come to mind right away, and I'd really need to sit back and think about it, but if we're just talking comebacks, one of them was Peyton Manning coming from 21-0 down in the second half, 2012. They're playing in San Diego, and it was still San Diego against the Chargers. And Philip Rivers, they're just getting their ass whooped, right? And everyone's starting to wonder, should you have signed Peyton Manning? What the heck's going on? Then all of a sudden they come out second half, everything changes. Everything changes, everything goes, and away we go. I've mentioned this game before. There's a lot of great comebacks.
Let me give you
John Elway one time. It was right before You Got to Be Color, by the way. So it was still a Dan Reeves game, and John Elway and the Broncos are down to Kansas City. And in the fourth quarter, there's like 4 minutes left. They're down 2 touchdowns or something like that. Might have even been 16 points. And I remember people started leaving like the other day. And Larry says to Dave Logan, because we had the radio on, it was easier to do, have the radio on, broadcast down. And Larry goes, boy, you'd think these people would have learned their lesson by now. You don't leave John Elway games when it's in the fourth quarter. And sure as shit, John came back. They had they had a good drive, like got to pick another good drive. And this guy, Arthur Marshall was his name. He was some no-name receiver that was a rookie. He had a punt return that was great. And it's just one of those magical games where they came back. They had no business winning, but they did. Just the other third one, I guess, if I were to give you one, although this one's on Elway, but this is when I believed in the ghost of Mile High. The Broncos blocked a kick in overtime against the Chargers to what they thought would be preserve the game and get a chance to go down. But they go to replay, and it turns out the refs had awarded a timeout that Mecklenburg was calling right before the kick. So the block looked like it was no good, right? They blocked it, but they called a timeout, so the Chargers got a kick again. And the Broncos blocked a second consecutive kick, and Louis Wright scoops it up and ran to the end zone and won the damn game, man. And that's just like only the ghosts of Mile High would let that happen.
I remember a Raiders game that they're going to go down and win. I think we blocked a kick and Alfred Williams recovered, right? Or something like that. And that was in Mile High. Don't forget this on the road, but the Stokely tip Cats touchdown come back.
Oh yeah.
That's a memorable game.
That was a brutal game though. That was Josh McDaniels' first game.
and I'm going to give you a game that they end up losing. And
I probably was there.
I had just, I think, got traded and was in town. So it's like 91 or 92. Montana's with the Chiefs.
It was 93.
Was that 93?
Yeah, because I was in college.
Montana's with the Chiefs. Broncos at Mile High. It's a Monday nighter, right? And Elway and Montana are going Hall of Fame versus Hall of Fame. And Elway scores late. They take the lead by like 4 or 5 or whatever it was. And somebody did interviews with it on NFL Network, and Elway goes, "Yeah, we came out the field. We were feeling pretty good myself. And I looked up the clock. It's like a minute 43. And he goes, we left Montana too much time." And Montana down, remember, and got that touchdown, the corner of the end zone, the south end, I think it was too. But you know what, and they lost it, but it was just one of the great, iconic, couldn't beat Monday night games ever. The thing I remember most was Elway comes out of that game. He looks like he's been in an alley fight. His white pants are muddied and black and green, and the Chiefs were wearing white tops, white bottom, and Montana didn't have a speck of a smudge on him anywhere on his body. And I was like, dude, you shouldn't even be in the game. I mean, Elway looks like he's been in a fight. Montana looks like he just came out of the cleaners.
So I was at the game. One of my friends, my brother, one of my younger brother's friends had South Stand tickets, and they gave them to me. So I went with the grandpa. The grandpa of the family was there. And so I'm sitting next to him. Okay. And I called all my boys to go with me. My buddy Jim, who unfortunately died of cancer, was no longer with us, or he would have for sure gone with me. A couple of my other guys bagged out because it was a Monday nighter, as you said. We were all in college, and they had to, whatever they had to do. They had study or whatever it was. So my girlfriend at the time, this beautiful blonde girl from New York, says, "I'll go with you." She's like, "I can't let you miss this game, and I'm not letting you go by yourself, so I'll go with you." So, and she doesn't know anything about the Broncos, bro. She was from New York. She was a dancer. She tried out for the Rockettes, man. So we go, and I'm like, all right, cool. We get into the South Stand, and we're in the South Stands, Scotty. We're in the South Stands, all right? And I've told you this before. I just don't think you knew it was from that game. Well, we're on offense, dude. We're on offense, and they're going. And I mean, I'm into it, and Gramps is leaning forward, and all the Bronco faithful are leaning forward in the South Stands as always driving them. And my girlfriend yells, "Go Mecklenburg!" And I mean, silence. And like the Blues Brothers, whatever that movie is, where they all just kind of like every Bronco fan within earshot was like, "What the hell?" And Grandpa, I wish I could remember their last name. Stan was the dad. Anyway, if Kevin was watching, he would know. But Grandpa from the family, who, again, these are his family tickets, he goes, "You are damn lucky she's hot." I was like, baby, he's on defense. Just shh. But it was awesome because Elway ran that touchdown it felt like, because remember, he went to spike it and looked back up at us, and then Gronk spiked that thing after they went ahead. And he's looking like it felt like he looked at all of us in the eye right there. Like, fuck yeah, we're ahead, right? And then Montana's going down. And look, man, the Broncos just won those games. They just won those games, Scotty. And I knew the defense sucked ass. I knew we had no pass rush. I knew we had dog shit Shane Dronette, who couldn't get his hands near or Dan Williams who the hell knows? Like you said, nobody could get to Montana that night. But your brain's like, no, we don't lose these. We don't lose these. And I remember as soon as he scored and the game was over, it was like I was at church. Everybody just filed out as quiet, like everyone a noise in that stadium as we all just beat and walked home. It took me 10 years. They finally replayed it on NFL Network, where I actually sat down and watched the broadcast, and I'm like, that was a pretty damn good game. But dude, it was heartbreaking at the time.
What was the final? Because it wasn't like it was.
It was like 1916 or something like that. It wasn't.
I thought it was like 27-24 or something.
It might have been. I don't know. I That was one of those teams where you're like, man, they weren't as good as you hoped they would be. You know what I mean? That was a wasted Elway year, you know? That's why you got to get something done with Joker. People are coming up with some great games. God, there's so many too. There was a great Chicago game. A guy took me to after my mom and dad got divorced, picked my spirits up. He was a teacher friend of my mom's. That was when I told you I saw Sammy Winder getting some food at a tailgate before he went into the game. But they were playing the Chicago Bears. It might have been, God, was it 86, 87, something like that. Anyway, it was Broncos. I don't think it was the Bears Super Bowl team still, but Fridge was still on there. I remember the guy was impressed because they spread out at the goal line, and I looked at the guy at like 13 years old, and I said, he's going to run it in. Because I'd seen the Elway, you know, they're at the 5-yard line. They go 5 wide. I'm like, he's going to run it in. Hey, throwing this ball here. It's Dan Reeves, you know, and sure enough, quarterback draw right in there. What's your favorite comeback ever that you witnessed? Were you ever part of a great, unbelievable comeback?
I was in college. Real fast, 31-28 was that Monday nighter.
Oh, really?
31-28. The Warden just looked it up.
God, it didn't feel like they scored that many points, but again, all I remember was the.
Hey, listen, Tebow had some. I mean, that crazy run they had that one year.
Dude, the Marion Barber Chicago game was inexplicable.
Yeah, I mean, well, not if you're a Bronco fan. I remember jumping. I was at a bar over by my house. We were watching that game. We couldn't believe he didn't, and then he went out of bounds.
Bro,
we're like, good.
Scotty, you got to remember, I was on the sideline for most of those, man, and I was preparing questions for, well, the run's over, but it's going to be good. I mean, what did you learn? Blah blah blah. And I remember Marion Barber went out, and I was like, what? He did what? Like, I was behind the bench walking from one side to the other. And I'm like, did he really go? What are you doing out of bounds? Why did you do that? There was another time. Remember the Jets? They won the Jets game. I was standing by the pylon in the end zone, waiting for them to come to me. And all of a sudden, I see this massive Jets pass rush, like swallow up our line. And all of a sudden, boop, here comes Tebow out of nowhere. I was like, oh, my God. And then I remember as he broke away from everybody, I was like, there's one tiny defense name. You ain't going to tackle him, you know, because he got his Bobby Boucher run going. And it was like nobody was going to hit the guy. It's just like, hey, every time he got running, I could hear him go, just in my head as he would go running down the sideline. And here he comes big as a truck. Like, I was like, I wouldn't want to go hit that dude. You know what I mean? The DB was smaller than me, Scotty. I'm like, you ain't tackling him. It was just moment after moment where you're like, what the hell was that?
I remember at the end of that year, we went and looked up stats, body stats, and, you know, or maybe it's the year after because, you know, there's so much rumble. Well, let Tebow be a tight end, blah, blah, blah. Virgil Green was one of the tight ends on that team, was 6'5", 250. Do you remember what Tim Tebow's numbers were? 6'5", 250.
I know he was 250. I couldn't remember how tall he was.
Well, they had him, but they were both the same. Is he 6'4", 250 or 6'5", 250? Might have been.
No, I think you're right. He wasn't small.
No, but he weighs the same amount as your tight end weighs, and he's running the quarterback.
I got to tell you, it's too bad it could have been long term because that kid, Tim, was a good guy. I don't like the people around him, and I'm going to just keep my thoughts of what went on around him to myself. I just think he was a machine. He let his people handle things, and his people were his family. But the kid himself he was always kind. He would let me interview him after the field. He was never stuck up about things. I wish the person could have succeeded in football that I covered more than, but it wasn't, But I'm sure you've had a couple guys like that where you're like, you know what, I wish you were a little bit better at this because you're a hell of a person. So
Right. Well, that was our feelings when Bruce Brown left after that championship year. You're like, I mean, he's the one guy never said no in an interview. Would go out of the way and do extra silly stuff with you, and you're like, oh man, So you miss that, but he can at least play, and it's tough to pass up $17 million a year, right? I mean, I don't know who's going to say no to that. There's a big difference between 17 and 8.
Well,
So
hey, look, and Braden Fowler Nicolosi leaving CSU kind of told you why you take that damn money when it's in front of you.
how
So,
about that, by the way?
how about what?
Are you a little surprised he left in the middle of the year?
No, it's new college football, brother. He has to leave to preserve his body so he can maybe get one more. The way things are going for him, he's probably not going to play in the NFL now, like I think he thought he would. So look, guys are going to go get one more check if they can get another year. If he can back out and somehow get another year, whatever he's got going, and get paid one more, you're going to see some guys making some money off college careers now, right? It's the
Yeah.
same reason why, dude. I'll ask you the same thing. What the hell's the point of firing coaches right now? You're not going to change systems. You're not going to get anything like, oh, the new culture. Bull crap. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But you know why you do it? So you can openly go look for your new coach. So the minute that the season ends, you can hit the transfer portal. You've said it 1,000 times. They screwed up the sport so bad, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they've ruined college sports. It is what it is. You got to learn to deal with it. But how do you develop a culture when you're switching out 50 new players, every year? Right?
I don't know.
At the number at CU in the last 2 years, there was like close to 50 people came in and out.
I know.
I mean, how do you establish no
You
culture?
don't. And you know what? You know what else you don't do? You don't establish, I think, a chemistry for why we hate these guys. Like I told you, I was talking to Chad Brown about this, and it's the only example that I have. I mean, I'm sorry I don't have anything better, but it caught. I felt good. Chad's like, I never thought about it that way, because we were talking about things like the second game of the year when I saw him up at CU. And I go, you know what happened? I go, Chad, how do you build, your culture, your chemistry? Because you know what? Again, when I started playing lacrosse as a freshman, I think my sophomore year, we had no seniors. So we all had to go play varsity. And you know what? We got our asses absolutely kicked. I got my nose bloodied. I got knocked around like you wouldn't believe. Well, guess what? When we all got to senior year and we passed there, it was our turn. Now we're going to do it to you. Now we're going to unleash hell on all of you, because we all went through this together. There's none of that anymore. How do you know what I mean? Like, again, I brought it up in terms of the BYU game. How many guys were even around here to understand how BYU kicked your ass and you may want to turn around and hand it back to them? You bloodied my nose, now I'm going to give it back to you. Well, if nobody was here last year, nobody even knows what the hell you're talking about. Right?
Good point. It's a good point. I mean, how do you establish OU Nebraska when every year the OU's got a new team and Nebraska got a new team?
Yeah, and the same guys, like, how many guys even playing back-to-back games anymore? Because if I'm not starting, or someone else is going to offer me more money, and look, we all know what's going to happen. The Big Ten and SEC are going to pay everybody, and no one's going to stay at any. Like, again, we all go poor CSU or this and that. Well, CU may fall into the same damn trap too. You ain't got no boom team Pickens waiting to pay all your guys. This is what drives me nuts about it. If they don't get control of it now, because look, I don't give a crap about whatever this agreement was, or we're going to approve NIL deals. You know what's going to happen? And I know it's going to happen because of people that I talk to. We're going to go back to the cash backpacks. It's just going to be the old system. You're going to get your upfront money, but there's still going to be other crap going on to make sure kids stay at schools or not. You mean to tell me that Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia are really going to go by the same payroll that everybody else has when they've got so much more donor money than the rest of college football? Get out of here with that.
Right. Well, let me give you a side effect I read about today in college basketball, but it involves the NIL and transfer portals and everything else. And think about it. What does NIL do for the players? Gets them paid, right? Gets them money. They make money playing basketball. And they're able to transfer the next year and go get more money if they want, right? There is 3 or 4 guys going to be playing college basketball this year that have played in the G League over the last 2 seasons.
Oh, I just saw that. I saw Tom Izzo talking about it today.
So think about that. So now you got guys that maybe you leave high school and go straight to the G League for a couple of years. Don't make great money, but guess what? You're playing against grown men. It's still a good breeding ground. And now I'm going to go back and, hey, by the way, you're probably not going to make the NBA team, but if you come here this year, we'll get you $150,000 and you can play for us here in Minnesota. How about that?
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
We're going to have career college athletes and make a good chunk of money, and that's just it. And look, I don't begrudge them, because Izzo said it right. It's not the kids' fault. They're just taking what's offered to them. We'd all do the same. You cannot tell me any one of us, if somebody's sitting there with a $500,000 or $1 million check, you're going, well, I don't know about the. No, we're taking the damn money. Okay. It's the people running this thing that have screwed it up and have no proper protocols in place.
And think about this now with basketball. Now, not everybody's making the 6-figure NIL.
Right.
Not everybody. But guess what? I can go play in the G League. I can make $65,000 or whatever they make. And guess what I don't have to do?
Pretend to be a student.
Pretend to be a student. I don't have to worry about my eligibility and my grade points for the team. And guess what? I get to get up in the morning when I get up, go to practice, come back. I ain't having to do homework. I'm playing basketball and making money. Now, it's not great money, but not everybody playing college or college basketball is making great money.
Well, let me ask you this. How many kids at the age of 19 have a $65,000 a year job?
Not
I know I got plenty of adult friends that are making 65 and they've been at work for a while. So not a bad paycheck if you can get it.
I agree with that.
I mean, really, if we're just going to break it down to blue collar numbers, right? Would you not take 200? I'd take $200,000 to go play a little lacrosse if they wanted my broke old ass. I know that. I'd sign up in a heartbeat. And you know what? If I blew my Achilles right away, then that's your dumb fault, not mine. All I did was sign the deal. You should have done a bigger physical, pal.
I signed up for direct deposit. Those checks will still come while I'm in my
yeah. That is what we call guaranteed. Look, dude, what can of worms? I was trying to talk to this with Nate, and Nate was into it too. But what can of worms did the NHL open up last night with that stupid offside thing?
Well,
did you hear Nate's explanation? Do you realize they did get the call right? It's just like I related it to this. So Nate went and read the rule, and so they didn't just make something up. If you basically, the rule says, in paraphrasing, if you try and your effort causes the guy to put it back in the zone, then it is a delayed offsides. And remember, it was an offsides because the guys were changing to the bench. It had really nothing to do with the fact that, Brock Nelson picked it up and skated in. It was the fact that we were in the middle of a line change, just like in stupid San Jose, and our change guys, the guys out of the play, had to go through the damn door in the zone to get onto their bench while the other guys came on the ice. And it was the guys going off the ice that caused the offsides.
Right.
But again, saying that his effort caused the turnover, this is going to be like surviving the ground with the catch bullshit you and I put up. Remember when Calvin Johnson, Megatron, the first time I think any of us realized, I can catch a ball in the end zone, but because I didn't land or do three things, it isn't actually a TD like we all thought all along. I'm telling you, I think the NHL just opened the same can of worms last night with whatever the hell this rule was.
Calvin Johnson caught it, landed, and then rolled the ball out of his hand, and they say he didn't come up with possession.
And we had never heard of that before. Never, ever. Because before, 2 hands on the ball and your feet down, that was the end of the play. Remember that? We
about the show, they've either got changed up the boards, which all the teams are too cheap to spend $150,000 to change the boards up, put the entrance inside the blue lines, right? And so you don't get offsides there. Or you know what you can do? Paint a little rectangle where the entrance is, and if the guy's got a skate in there, he's off the ice.
Free zone. Well, it's supposed to kind of be the thing where
it's on the other side of the ice. It's not even involved in the play.
I'm with you. He was in a free zone. I'm with you. You need a safe zone. They have it in lacrosse. If you actually look when the Mammoth play, there is a white little line like you're requesting where if the guys are in there, you're not technically in the play yet, so you're safe. Now you take a step outside that line, you're in trouble. But to your point, you could easily paint a long rectangle that would say if your skate's in there, you're officially out of the play. Now, if you were to come out and touch the puck, then it's a penalty. But once you're in there, you're free to pass without being considered a player in action. So that's, it just made me so mad too. I know it's a hometown. I'm going total homer. But dude, you took Landy's first goal back in a while away. You suck. You suck, dude. And that broadcast, look, man, you and I, we both do broadcasts for a living. So I get you've got to be neutral. But that crap in the second period was terrible. Terrible. ESPN should be embarrassed of that. He had the owner on screaming God knows what. He looked like he was a few dark Gatorades deep, as one of our friends from Australia said. I don't even know what. And then he just sat there, not really serving a purpose. Whatever.
Yeah, I think either you or Nick, when you were talking about today, it felt like ESPN wanted and the NHL needed Utah to win their first home opener or win a home game on national TV.
Yeah, they're trying so hard to make sure it sticks in that market better than it did in Arizona. But look, it's a sports town. I have no doubt it'll stick. By the way, did you notice? You probably don't notice these minute details, but do you realize that Utah pulled out the Mario? You know that sound Mario made when you would eat the mushroom and he would get big?
Yeah.
The Mammoth play the Avs play that sound when your power plays. Oh, when they get their power or their guy out of the box, they play that sound when they're back to full strength. And Utah used that last night. Is there one damn unique thing that stupid ass franchise does?
No.
God. All right. How about? But okay. I did want to ask you this too before we get you out of here. So much for our 45-minute rule. They have a goalie controversy, a good goalie controversy, but a goalie controversy. I mean, what do you do?
Not yet. You only gotta have a controversy when Blackwood comes back and he sucks for the first 5 games. Then you'll have
okay.
If Blackwood comes back and he's playing good, you've got what I said last year going to the playoffs. You got the best 1-2 goalie punch in all of the NHL.
I'm with you.
You know what? And I don't know what the contract status is. Scott Webb is going to get paid somewhere.
Oh, he is. Well, but it was interesting because I read some comments of his after the game where he said this has just been fun because we all do want to start. I do love that they're going to be competitive. Wedgwood is like, yeah, I'm just happy to go sit on the bench. That good. Let's have a little friendly competition because I do think Darcy Kemper and Pavel Francouz had that going on a little bit. So, but I'm just saying, man, if I were Jared Bednar, I'd be a little tough to take Wedgwood out, man. He's made some, again, he saved your bacon towards the end of the game last night, too, when you got a little leaky. So you got a point in every game with him so far. Completely different start from a year ago.
Yep. What do you got, 12 of the possible 14?
Yeah. You've lost 2 overtimes. Of course, one of them had to be to Dallas, but. All right, are you ready for Halloween? You and the warden ready for Halloween?
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna be home on Halloween? What's the Nuggets schedule on Halloween?
I don't know the exact game, but I am on the road. I think we leave the 30th and we play Halloween night somewhere. I don't know where.
Are you home for Thanksgiving?
I haven't looked.
You guys home for Christmas? I know all the teams are playing Christmas, but
I'm home for Christmas. They have national games on the 23rd and 25th at home. So I think we do a game on the 21st and we don't have a game. But then we leave the 26th of December and are out for 7 games.
Wow. So what is that, 2 or 3 weeks?
It's probably 9 or 10 days. 11 days. And then we'll be out for New Year's.
Better throwbacks. The Nordiques look or what the Broncos are wearing this weekend?
Well, I'm a big fan of the Nordiques little elephant skater guy, whatever that is. I really like that logo, but I'm like you. I kind of like that whale too, with the Whalers.
I just think it's fun that they're both wearing them, but
I think we're going to find out there's going to be a lot of people. Well, listen, I don't know. I think both teams are wearing them Sunday also, but has Dallas really even changed much in 60 years?
Not really. They were the North Stars. They were the Minnesota North Stars before they got there, so they may go with the North Star, but
I'm talking Broncos Cowboys on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. No. You're right. Dallas has had minimal changes.
Minimal.
Which Good for them. You don't. It's kind of like the Steelers. You are what you are. You don't need to change too much, right? I respect that. Packers haven't gotten too crazy.
By the way, there's a great show. You'll like it. And I think it's on Amazon. I think it's either Amazon or I think it's Amazon, but it might be something else. But it's called NFL Icons. And the first show of it is Brett Favre.
Oh, I got to go check that out.
And I thought about you when I watched it. And it takes him back from when he was a kid at Christmas getting a football, playing with his brother and his dad, to high school, to, and he said in his Hall of Fame speech, hard to believe a kid who played in a wishbone offense is, in high school, is at the time I retired the leading passer in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Good point.
With that weird throwing motion.
He'd throw it, though.
Oh, he could throw the ball now. Don't trust him with your charity dollars, but you can throw the ball now.
See, there you go. You're not even reading the truth. You just fall in line with all the media.
Listen. Did you see the stuff? Did you see Gastineau? Did they put anything in there about Gastineau confronting him?
No. This was NFL produced, so there wasn't a lot.
Oh, I gotcha. I'm trying to remember if that was. Do you not remember that last year with the card show where Gastineau went to the card show and told him how mad he was at him for giving Strahan the record?
Oh yeah, he said he just folded for Strahan.
Well, I mean he did. Favre admitted it because he said he had great respect for Strahan. I love me watching some Brett Favre. I love me Brett Favre as a fantasy QB. Jordan Love has not been as fun as a fantasy QB as Brett Favre has. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Of course, you and I are stuck because we're both stuck with Burrow, and I haven't won a single game in that damn league we all got because I ain't got no quarterback. So,
well, I've somehow won 4 in a row in the league I'm in, and I picked up Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but he's been good.
Yeah, he's giving me 2 touchdowns a game, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns every game, if not 3.
All right. Well, I guess with that, we'll let it go. Where are you next Wednesday?
I have no idea.
This is what we're starting. It's the time of year where I don't even know where you're at. You're going to start showing us hotel rooms and.
Yeah, I don't have I'm using my phone as my camera, so I can't get on my whatchamacallit.
The internets?
Yeah.
Show everybody the hat. Is that an OG hat or is that a new one? Is that the Guinness?
Yep.
Nice. All right, everybody. Well, we love you. God bless you. And good night.
You know what I got to say? I can rock these hats now.
I know you can. I'm getting skinnier. I think I'll be good. I'll try mine next week.
You know what? I think this right here just goes with a good old Peaky Blinders.
I don't know. You look like Colonel Damn Sanders. I don't know what to do. You need to. Can you at least multicolor that thing? Can we get like a racing stripe or something in there? Huh?
I want to get it to where I can braid it.
Braid it? How old are you?
37.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I literally have underwear 37 years old, I think.
Really?
Yeah, maybe.
I hope not. I really hope not. All right. Good night, all.
Good night.